Emily here with Two Shots of Geek, and today I'm going to talk to you about some similarities and some differences between the CW's The Flash and DC Comics' The Flash. Of course, I am a big Flash fan. Wally West is my favorite. Barry Allen, though, is a close second. And that's who the CW's The Flash focuses on, is Barry Allen, how he got his powers, how he uses them, who he interacts with, so on and so on. The comics, though, kind of give a much broader explanation of what's going on. Of course, though, with DC, there are so many alternate universes, so many different ways things have happened. They've gone back and said, no, this isn't how it went, this is. So I think that the CW gets a little bit of leeway because that's a lot of stuff to go through and try to pick out the best of each. So let's get into some differences that I saw. Number one is the relationship that Barry has with Iris West. In the show, they're almost like siblings. In the comics, they don't know each other until they're a lot older, and they're on a crime scene together, in one of the universes at least. And that's where they met. So it's a little different there. I like the dynamic that the CW has between Iris and Barry, though. It's very sweet, and I really, really do love it. And of course, for those of you that do know, Barry has a little crush on Iris, which, when you're kind of adopted siblings, that's a little weird. I mean, I know he had liked her beforehand, but still, it's a little weird. I gotta give it to the comics for this one. Although I like the way the CW presented their relationship, I really did. It's just a little weird to me. I mean, they grew up together. They know everything about each other, which is great. It's just seeing Barry have to long after her for most of his life is a little sad to me. Kind of just meeting her is really inspiring. He just met her and they kind of fell for each other. It took a while, yeah. But eventually, who knows? Another difference that kind of bothered me, actually, was the way the Flash suit happened. In the original DC Comics, the Flash has a ring that he wears, and the costume pops out of it. It's some invention that he made that reacts with the hydrogen in the air, and it's a long process, and I'm not going to get into it, but in the CW's version, I don't want to give away too much, but the Flash kind of has a little team going on, kind of like the Arrow does, kind of like the Green Arrow, but the comics, it's just him. And I mean, I do love the design of the CW suit. It is amazing. I do love it a lot. But it's a little bit more high-tech than what it was in the comics. Granted, the comics were written a long time ago, and they've kind of evolved with the time. So I can understand that one. I just wish that they kind of kept the ring, because that's awesome. It would be really cool to see that animated. Or, you know, live action, CGI. Whatever they'd have to do, it would be really cool to see in person. Another difference, and this was just a personal kind of thing for me, because I really do love Captain Cold. He's one of my favorite Flash villains, and it meant a lot that he was in so many episodes of this season, and I loved it. But there was just something off about his personality to me. I know he's supposed to be really confident, cocky, knows exactly what's going on all the time, and I applaud the actor for grasping all of that, but I think that he's a little too over the top sometimes. And I'm excited to see where his character goes, to see if it kind of goes with the comics, or if they take a completely different route, which is entirely possible. Like I said, there are so many universes in DC, and there are so many options. So I'm kind of excited to see where they take him. Especially if you know kind of what happens later on in the comics about all that he has to go through. And speaking of villains, some of the things I really, really liked about how the CW presented some of the villains were just fantastic. Gorilla Grodd, oh, that was amazing. I loved it. Granted, it's different from how he was presented in the comics. I still loved it. The Trickster, with a little cameo in there from Mark Hamill. Oh, it was great. It's kind of like Joker in a way. And it gave me chills. I loved the presentation. It was great. There's so many good villains. So many good villains. And I just have to applaud all of the actors that work on The Flash. They're all amazing. I really, really love Grant Gustin as Barry Allen. He is just perfect for the role. He seems so innocent and just ready to get the job done. He's all for justice. And I'm so, so glad that the CW didn't make the Flash this dark, brooding hero like Batman or how they've done with the Arrow. Which I do like their Arrow, just like it's just too dark for me. The Flash is this I want to help everybody guy. Just he's always optimistic and he loves what he does. So I'm so, so, so glad that the CW stuck with that theme from the comics. Of course, everyone has their ups and downs, but for the most part, I really love the presentation. Just everyone in there is just so fantastic. They embody their characters very well. And the writing is really good too. I mean, whenever you're comparing the TV show versus the comics, it's almost like comparing apples and oranges. Like I mentioned several times, DC has so many universes. And they tried to kind of bring them all together in the New 52 comics, but I think some things get lost in translation when you try to just weave everything in together. Some things were lost, some things were gained, and it was great. And I kind of feel that's the same way with the TV show. Things are going to be different, and that's okay. I don't mind separating the comics from the television show, just like I'll separate the television show from the Justice League movie or a Flash movie. It's just different, and sometimes different is a good thing. I never would have pictured myself watching a TV show about the Flash. He's such an underestimated character, really. I mean, yeah, he's super fast, cool. Superman can shoot lasers out of his eyes and has heat vision and all this other stuff. Batman's a billionaire. He can create anything. He can climb up walls like Spider-Man. But the Flash is just fast. Fast and sometimes humorous. And I think he gets underestimated a lot for that. So I'm really glad that the CW took it on, and they've done such a great job with it. And just thank you to the entire cast and crew. You guys have done a fantastic job, and I cannot wait for the second season. Some things I'm really looking forward to in the second season would be more about Captain Cold. He's not done yet, and I want to see where it goes. Number 2, I really, really would like if they brought in the Kid Flash somehow. I mean, if you know the lore behind the Flash, you kind of know who, what, and where Kid Flash comes from. And it's a really cool story, but I don't know how they're going to set it up since Iris has no siblings and the Kid Flash is actually her nephew. So that's something I'm excited to see how they do, if they do it at all. They could bring in one of the other Kid Flashes or Impulse. It's possible. So I'm excited to see where they go with that. And I'm just excited to see new villains and how they just do things. But that's enough for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you haven't watched it yet, please, please, please give the Flash's CW a try. Well, the CW's Flash a try. Sorry about that. It's definitely worth the watch. And if you're a big DC Comics fan, or just a Flash fan in general, I think you'll really enjoy it. Barring that there are differences, you kind of have to get over them, but it's amazing. Alright guys, that's really all for me now. See you next time. Bye!